Hi, everyone. My name is Dustin Miles. I'm with Multifamily, and I'm excited to have Amanda Larson here today. And Amanda, if you could kind of give us a little bit of background about you, and would love to just learn more and dig in.
No, great. First of all, thank you, Dustin, for having me on your show. We go back quite a while, so I'm pretty excited to be here, and hopefully I can add some value to your listeners. So yeah, a little bit about me. I'm Amanda Larson. I am based in Houston, Texas right now. I grew up in Lincoln, Nebraska, recovering engineer turned full-time multifamily investor. Started investing in real estate in 2010 during the
Oh,
financial
wow. Okay.
crisis. Got into single family. I grew up in a real estate household, owned a lot of single family, and I only knew about the landlord side. And so
Oh, okay.
I bought my first single family reluctantly,
Yeah.
because I that side did not appeal to me, to be perfectly honest, but I knew
Right.
it was a good investment vehicle. Fortunately, I have a great family who helped me take care of that. So in many ways, it was almost a passive investment. So,
Oh, wow. Okay.
and yeah, bought a couple other single family rentals and then stumbled upon multifamily syndications. And that completely flipped the script for me. And
Mm.
I almost like I just started really enjoying it. I started investing as a passive investor.
Oh,
Um,
wow. Okay.
at
When
the
did you first hear about multifamily?
it was around 2019 and
Okay.
I was just busy attending all kinds of real estate meetups around
Mm,
Houston.
gotcha. Okay.
I'd kind of chosen real estate as an asset class I wanted to dive into
Yeah.
and I stumbled on a meetup. Um, and it might have been one of the only multifamily meetups. And I heard about it and the light bulb turned on and I never looked back. So no more
Wow.
single family, no more thoughts of fixing and flipping, no more even notions of wholesaling or whatever it would be. Yeah, so and primarily because at the time I enjoyed my career, I liked what I was doing, and I just
Okay.
wanted
Yeah, so you weren't necessarily motivated to go look
no,
elsewhere because
not at the
okay.
time. No, I
Wow.
liked my job and
Hmm.
I just thought this is perfect. I can invest in real estate, get cash flow, all of the benefits that I knew already was familiar with, but didn't have to deal with all the stuff.
So kind of going back to 2010 and
Mhm.
rentals and or were they rentals or were they flips or did you wholesale or kind of a combination of all
They
three or
they were rentals. The first one
okay.
was a foreclosure.
Oh, well.
And I'm very fortunate. I was living overseas at the time, so I had family pretty much just taking care of it for me.
Oh,
And
wow.
I
Wow.
was just pretty much like I said, a passive investor, but still
Okay.
helping with the decision, still dealing with some of that. But I had seen the landlord side, and my dad had, my family had done single family forever.
Oh,
My
wow.
dad still does flips. He's a contractor, so he knows all that stuff. And
Oh, okay.
I'm one of
Yeah.
the, like I know what I don't know.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
And
Gotcha. Okay.
so this just made sense. And it just turned out that I liked it and I really enjoyed it and I
Hmm.
saw the opportunities and the possibility, I think, was the big thing. You get around these
Yeah.
people and you see what's possible.
Right. 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 That's
Yeah.
awesome. And is there, I guess, is there, so what kind of, I guess, caused you to, is there any particular thing that kind of caused you to, you're like, I want to start trying to find something else, like jobs maybe not as satisfactory as it was before?
I think there was a few things. One was a possibility, like what's possible on the
Mm.
GP side. And
Yeah.
it's a different, you get around, like, as you know, you go to these conferences
Hmm.
and you see that there's bigger things in life than this
Yeah.
promotion that you once thought was a big thing. and it just changes your perspective, and it changes how bold your goals are. And the more I learned about it, the more I legitimately enjoyed it. Like I was enjoying it more than what I was doing at my job. And I was
Gotcha. Okay.
enjoying learning about it and doing the underwriting and learning the nuts and bolts of it. So
Yeah. Yeah. Awesome. Well, that's
yeah.
great. And your background's double E?
I'm an electrical engineer, yeah. I
Okay.
don't ask me any tough questions about it. I
Well, I don't know anything to ask you, so there you go. I was mechanical engineering. I tried
yeah.
to stay away from double E stuff as much as I could. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't do the moving parts, but I started as a site engineer and went pretty much into project management type roles.
Okay.
So didn't spend any time, like any meaningful amount of time on the technical side.
Okay. Gotcha.
Always the project management, give me a budget, give me a schedule, and
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
off to the
You're
races. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Got it. Okay. Yeah, that's a tough major to go through and I don't know if it's the toughest, but it's definitely, I'd say up there. That maybe chemical engineering I would think would
Yeah.
be pretty
I
tough
think that
too.
was tough.
So
I think that was even for me, that would have been harder. Uh,
yeah. Yeah. The
according to my intro to chemistry test score, that would have been harder.
yeah. Yeah, got it. Yeah. I never took organic. I heard that was the one that just kind of would, knock
Yeah.
people out. So, um, well, and then okay, so you've been in syndication space a little bit, and
Mhm.
then you've actually been able to make that jump, that leap,
Yeah.
from being an engineer to full
Mhm.
time, real estate, full time multifamily. What kind of gave you? I know for me that was scary. And so what kind of gave you the confidence to make that leap, and what that looked like for you?
Well, it's probably a little bit different than your story. So I had been kind of hoping to make that leap for quite a while and
Hmm.
working on things in the background. I was spending, every night underwriting and
Yeah.
looking at things and trying to form teams and
Hmm.
learning. I had joined a mastermind, and we can maybe talk about that later. But
Okay.
actually, what helped me make the leap was I got laid off for this second time.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
it was like,
Yeah.
it and of course I could have gone back to look for another full-time job, but I
Yep.
decided that maybe it was, the universe telling me that this is time.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
but I think part of that story is I was in oil and gas, so it's a volatile industry, but you never know when
Yeah.
that is going to happen.
Hmm.
And without other forms of income, without your investments working, like that would have been far scarier than what it was.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
So that's part of my, I guess not mission, but that's part of what drives me to get people
Mm.
starting to invest because I know what that feels like
Yeah.
multiple times. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was never for me, I worked at Lockheed,
Mhm.
and I was never laid off, but there were a few times where, it's
It could
not
have
the
been
same as
easy.
oil and gas, but when the defense budget goes down,
Yeah.
it's kind of similar. And so there were a few times where it was, pretty.
Stressful.
Yeah, yeah. I was like, I might be gone. I don't know. And then,
Yeah.
at the time I didn't really have, I was kind of newer into my investing career
Mhm.
and all that. So I, had some income, and probably could have, kind of scraped by a little bit, but it would have been
Yeah.
definitely a lot leaner times, that's for
Yeah.
sure. So,
So
uh,
even like no matter what happens, it's stressful when you go through
yeah,
those turns. And so
yeah,
it's a lot less stressful when you have a safety net.
yeah, yeah,
So
absolutely. Yeah, for sure. Um, So, just kind of, I'd love to learn more about I guess, the mastermind that you've been in, and
mhm.
or coaching, or whatever that's kind of looked
Yeah.
like. I know for me, and I know you're a runner too, I believe, but
Yeah.
so like I have a running coach. 10, 15 years ago, I didn't really know how to swim. And I wanted to do a triathlon, so I went and got a swimming coach, and so I'm a full, big believer in coaches
Yeah.
and masterminds and all that stuff. But yeah, I'd love to learn more about the mastermind and kind of what that's done for you, and if you've been in any others or hired coaches and what that's looked like.
Yeah, I'm a big like you, I'm a big proponent of coaching
Hmm.
where it makes sense.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
what I would say is coaching doesn't do all the work for you. I think there's a lot of
Hmm.
people I know, you get into a coaching program and they think it's I don't know, the golden ticket that
Yeah.
suddenly it's going to solve all
Yeah.
your problems. You still have to do all the work.
Yep.
It's just a little bit of I don't know, it helps push you forward a little bit faster than what you would
Mhm.
have. And
Yep.
so for me, that was, I mean, I don't know if you want me to name it
Sure.
explicitly, but it
Yeah.
was Brad Sumrock's coaching
Mhm.
program. He's based in Dallas. He's, one of the bigger ones in Texas. There's probably a few more that have popped up. I know there are, but I don't know what they are. So that was instrumental for me. So
Mm.
I met a lot of people. The coaching is there, obviously. I think when it comes to the nuts and bolts of multifamily, like the actual underwriting and the math and it's not rocket science, but
Right.
without somebody there to check your work, you don't know when you're
Mhm.
wrong. And so
Yeah. 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 Like,
that,
oh, insurance is not 300 a door anymore.
yeah,
It's,
so
yeah.
that was really helpful. And I think that's what you can't learn off of YouTube or anything like that. You need somebody there to put up the bumpers, like the bowling lane bumpers, and say,
Yep.
no, you're off track here. Um, but it's also what I will say is it's go into it with specific goals because
Mm.
not every coaching program is the same, and it's really what you needs to match that program because I've
Right.
been in other programs where I just dove in and without doing my research and it wasn't what I needed, and that was,
Mm.
my own fault. So, get feedback and
Yeah.
figure out what you need and then go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's also, I've kind of, I've been in some coaching programs and some were, you know, honestly, like some I probably, similar to what you were kind of mentioning, I joined probably didn't necessarily have, goals per se and
Yeah,
or didn't, maybe vet it, closely enough. And so I've gotten over time, I've gotten, better
got
at
better.
that and really trying to ask people that are already in it and
Mhm.
so if there's people in it that are already kind of achieving what I want to achieve, then hey, kind of a no brainer, and I think it's good to be around those folks. But um uh
They'll always take your money. You don't have to run to the back of the room.
right, yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's what
yeah,
I learned the hard way.
yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, and so I think, yeah, maybe kind of taking your time and just making sure it's the right fit, and then yeah, and then
That
at some
limited
point.
time offer is not so limited usually.
Right. Yeah. 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 They'll take it the next
Yeah,
week.
they'll
So
take it. Yeah.
yeah, or whenever you want. So,
Yeah.
but if they don't have the scarcity whatever, then a lot of people won't pull the trigger or
Yeah.
get off the seat. So yeah.
Yeah.
Um, what does what are kind of your goals moving
Mhm.
forward? What does that look like for you? And I know you were underwriting a lot and all that, and are you kind of still going down that path, or are you switching lanes a little bit, or what does
Yeah,
everything look like for you?
that's a great question. So I'm starting to merge lanes a little bit. So I think I went into it thinking that okay, I can be the acquisitions type person that can underwrite. I as an engineer, I love the
Very
numbers, love the spreadsheet.
analytical, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
And I thought that you could kind of compartmentalize that, and I would leave more of the investor relations to the, different types of people with different strengths. And what you learn is you really have to be able to wear all the hats.
Mm.
And so right now I'm focusing a lot more on building relationships with investors and guiding them and teaching them. And then also having that backbone of I do know how to analyze the deal. So I'm not, just a flashy pitch deck, but I
Right.
can help
Right.
people get started and get into their first, second, 10th investment.
Yeah, and I think I think that's a really important just point is
Mhm.
to, you kind of went down a path. Now you're, maybe doing in
Mhm.
a two lanes or whatever, or
Yeah.
maybe kind of veering off into another path a little bit. But I think the importance is, you got started
Mhm.
and you took action, and maybe maybe you are going to be more on the capital raise side in the future, or maybe, who knows exactly what it looks like. But the fact that you have that experience of underwriting is huge. A lot of
Mhm.
people that are in,
Yeah.
programs to raise capital, they don't have that background.
Mhm.
And that could be a real challenge for them. But you've seen a lot, you've underwritten a lot of deals, and so you know what to look for. You know that, moving the exit cap rate can move things quite a bit,
Yeah.
your assumptions for rent growth can,
Mhm.
change your numbers a lot pretty quickly. So,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I mean, those are, super, super valuable. And that's what, whenever a lot of people are like, "Hey, what should I do?" I'm like, well, I guess, if it's a salesperson, I'm like, well, you know, raising capital is probably, a good place to start. And maybe you stay there, maybe you don't. But no matter what you do, whatever, if you're in multifamily, or maybe
Mhm.
if you end up doing some other stuff, oil and gas, or car washes or whatever, you're always
Yeah.
going to need to raise capital.
Yeah, you
So
are. I
yeah,
learned that the hard way. So yeah.
yep, yep. So, but I mean, I think,
Mhm.
analyzing deals and all that is certainly, given your background and just, probably the way your brain works and all that, that was a, good, really, really good place to start. Um, what sort of, when you're looking at deals or looking to partner up with people, any traits that you're kind of looking for in a deal? Do you have a certain, buy
Mhm.
box? Are you trying to stay in Houston? Or are you open to other metros? What does that look like?
Yeah, I like Houston and Dallas primarily. I'm open to other metros, especially now that I'm not,
Hmm.
the person that's touring and doing all that stuff. I can help. I can not have to be the one to know all the brokers and things like that. That said,
Yep.
I haven't worked on anything outside of Texas as a
Hmm.
GP, but I'd say the fundamentals always stand. It's job growth, population growth, and then that's in the major market, but it really is so hyper local real estate is. So it really is like what's going on in that suburb or that block, or where is it located in terms of, is it on a busy street or is it tucked away somewhere where no one can find it?
Yep.
How
Yep.
accessible is it? Uh, what's the median household income in the area, crime rates, things like that. So you start big and then you keep narrowing and narrowing, narrowing down, and hopefully ticking boxes along the way.
Yeah, yeah. I can tell you that I've definitely learned a few things just from deals kind of
Mhm.
earlier in my career, and didn't have
Yeah.
nearly as much access to the data, that we have now, and all the websites and RealPage and all that. And because you mentioned crime,
Yeah.
you mentioned location, some other things. And so we're, on our end, we're particularly, I don't know, I guess because I had a deal that, bought, and I thought it
Yeah.
was looked like a pretty decent area. Honestly, it kind
Uh-huh.
of looked like where I grew up, type of
Yeah.
neighborhood. And but there's a lot more crime there than I thought.
Yeah.
And we got into it, and we ended up doing pretty well, mainly because a lot of what a lot of the return came from the expense side. We
Okay.
had the income side so tough. Like we
Yeah.
didn't. It was just other than this was in Oklahoma and this was 2000, this is 10 years ago. But they were not billing back for water. And so I'm like, oh, this is easy. Check, just start
Yeah.
billing back for water. As soon as the lease turns over, you
Yeah.
start billing back. And so pretty easy. But yeah, raising rents, extremely difficult.
Yeah.
And the other kind of income side that we were able to bump a little bit was there was the manager had their own suite, three bedroom above the office, and so we broke that up into two different apartments because it was like 1,500 square feet, and so
Yeah.
anyways, we broke that up into two apartments and rented it out, and so made some extra money that way. But the rest of everything else came from the expense side, water.
Yeah.
We saved huge on water, and then they had a cable contract. I remember exactly. It was 42,500 per year, and that on it was this was an eight cap deal, and that
Yeah.
on eight cap was pretty significant
Yeah.
dollars. I think it was like I don't know. I think it's like 500,000, and so anyways, and the raise was only 1.5 million, so that was a huge just
Yeah.
canceling that contract. I'm like, oh
Oh,
cool,
that's a victory. Yeah.
but we had a really tough time on the income side. So anyways, I'll digress. But
Yeah.
um
But
on
it's a good point. Like when you start looking at deals and working with brokers, they always tell you, oh, you can just raise rent not
yeah,
$250 a month. And it's like, do you think the owner was that incompetent that they just didn't do it? Like there
right,
has to be a good re a
right,
good reason
right,
why
right.
it's not already done.
Yeah, and we would try to raise rents, or because at the time you could two-tone paint and
Yeah.
vinyl flooring in Texas, $150 more a month.
Yeah.
Oklahoma, you couldn't do that. And so we learned the hard
Learn the
way.
hard way. Yeah.
But yeah. Um, and then I guess on so jumping to so we kind of talked about what your criteria a little bit for deals, and do you have a kind of asset age or size that you kind of your
Mhm.
box you're kind of looking for as well?
Um, it's N not a super small box. I want something big enough, 100 plus units to have the property manager there. Usually that just ends up being in the 200 unit mark for some reason. There's not a
Right.
lot of this like 100 to 150 unit. I don't know.
Yep.
There's
Yep.
a gap there. And
Yep.
then I like not brand new build, but 90s to 2000s build. I think there's when you start getting older, you just have a lot of unknowns and it can
Right.
work out
Yeah.
really well or it can work out really bad. And so having keeping an extra pot of money just in case really hurts your returns. And so you never know what's going to happen. And so it's a risk that I don't really want to take. And
Yep.
I'm again
Yep.
going back to almost like the flipping story. I don't know what I don't know. Like I don't know what's behind that wall. I don't know what those pipes
Right.
look like under this building. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, understood. That's yeah, why, at least on my end, that's older deals I did have, I sold them because I was like, I don't know,
This is a ticking time
almost
bomb. Yeah.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't want, I'm like the sewer's gonna go out at some point,
Yeah.
or the plumbing's gonna go out at some point. I don't want it to be on my watch. So
Like the
let's
musical
let's
chairs, right?
yeah,
Let's
let's go sell hot potato.
yeah.
Um, and
Yeah.
then on the partnership side,
Yeah.
because I believe you've partnered with some folks, and
Mhm.
and you've probably learned some things there.
Yeah.
Do you anything kind of some things that you kind of look for in a potential partnership with people? That's obviously that's it's super important and
Yeah.
very just a big component of syndications in general.
So I would say just really getting to know somebody really well. I mean, you can
Mm-hmm.
do all the background checks and everything. People talk about that, and that's important
Yep.
too, probably. But really, I think the sooner you can start working with them, like doing something, and just
Mm.
figure out if they're the person that does what they say they're going to do. That's like the big thing. Just do what you say you're
Right.
going to do. And I'm not surprised anymore. But for a long time, I was surprised at just people's level of commitment, saying they would commit to something and then they
Right.
flutter off. I think, especially if you're getting started and somebody's not, and you're trying to partner with somebody who's not like well ingrained into the space.
Mm.
I like to describe people as tourists in multifamily. Like a lot of people
Oh
get
yeah.
in
Yeah.
thinking it's going to be like the great thing and they're going to be the
Yeah.
big thing and they're going to do all this stuff. And then they might last 6 months, maybe a
Yeah.
year, but
Rainbows and
soon enough,
unicorns. Yeah.
soon enough they're not there anymore.
Yeah.
So really just make sure that whoever you're partnering with is going to be there because these deals aren't, they're not short. I mean, even if they're five
Right.
to 7 years, that's a long time to work with someone. Uh,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's
You
a lot
better
of
like
money
who you're
involved,
working with. Yeah.
and things get stressful
Yeah.
on these, especially I think right now. I think
Mm-hmm.
there's more operational challenges and financing challenges than there were 8 years ago in the 2015 to 20.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I think we're seeing a filtering process right now of, there's I think quite a few people that are leaving the multifamily industry and they're going to get, jobs or going to do, other
Yeah,
stuff right now. So,
it's we probably needed a little bit of a
yep.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was and a lot of people benefit. I benefit from it too.
Yeah.
It was really easy for a while,
Yeah.
like I mentioned in Texas, you throw down vinyl flooring and two-tone paint and $150 more a month, and
Or
then
not. Like there's some people that didn't even do anything and they're like, I didn't do any renovations and
yeah, 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 and then at least kind of when I started buying, we were buying at 9 and 10 caps, and
yeah.
then cap rates were compressing, and so oh look at me, I doubled everybody's money in 2 years. I mean, I
You're a
know a lot of
genius.
people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, oh, look at me, but I'm like, I didn't really do a whole lot other than I did take action.
Yeah,
give
which
myself that
counts.
credit. Yeah,
Yeah.
does count, but I mean, I didn't have a magic wand or anything like that. It was really good timing, and unfortunately, some people that bought, in the last few years, just the exact opposite, really poor timing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So. Yeah. Is uh I wanted to ask, is there, best piece of advice you've ever received from anyone? You can kind of, if you want to talk about your engineering career or about multifamily or life, however you want to take it.
Yeah, so that's a great question. I think one of the best pieces is just if you're gonna go after something, just go after it with like the most energy and tenacity you can. Because if you want it, like it's not gonna come to you. Once you
Mm-hmm.
decide you're gonna go for something, just go for it and do whatever it takes to get there because life is short and it's not gonna get any easier to get where you're going.
Yep.
So
Yep.
don't
Absolutely.
think
Yeah.
twice. It's
Well, it could be too. As soon as you give up, you could, you would have just kept going another day or two. You could have been turning the corner and oh, big breakthrough, or you met your, met, the person you needed to kind of get you to the next
yeah.
level. Like who knows? So,
Yeah.
um, I know I've had a few instances where I mean, I was on someone else's podcast, and honestly, that person is invested. I met him for lunch, and have
Yeah.
always just been responsive, and they've invested $1 million with me. So, off
It,
of a
yeah.
podcast, which is crazy. Or,
Yeah.
Hayden,
Yeah.
he whenever I first met him, he told me I think he reached out to 5 or 10 other syndicators. No one, I'm the only person that got back to him, and
Oh,
now we have 1,600
yeah,
units together.
yeah.
So
This
you never know.
this business is full of just like just keep planting seeds, and usually they don't sprout for a while, but suddenly like a tree will be there, and you're like, who knew that was gonna happen? Like,
Yeah, where'd that come from? Yeah,
all because
yeah.
of a podcast or some random thing of like a meetup, or you spoke to somebody at an event. So,
Yep. Yep,
yeah.
for sure. Well, really appreciate your time today. It's great to catch up. How do people reach out to chat with you? What's the best way to connect? Is it LinkedIn, email, your website? What's the best way to get a hold of you?
Probably the easiest way is my website. So it's on my X. So just amaxequity.com. And then there's a contact form, and you can email me, or there's some free resources, and I'll be in touch. And then you'll be on the newsletter, hear about all the deals, and be in touch there. Also on LinkedIn if you want to find me there. But yeah, I think
Okay.
it's simple. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, sounds good. I appreciate your time. Great seeing you as always.
As
And
always, yeah.
yeah, we'll talk soon. Have a
All
great day,
right.
Amanda. See ya.
Thank you, Dustin. Bye.
Bye.